Good morning. Good morning. Whoa. So, the challenge today is to hand over everything that's irritating. Okay? Instantly. Like, don't even reply. If something's irritating and you know that that person knows that it's irritating, okay? To you, hand it over. Don't even say anything. And don't even get like upset that you're not saying anything, okay? Just literally hand those emotions over as well, along with what they're saying, okay? Or along with what they're not saying, because people can do that too, okay? You know, when you share something where someone should more than likely be like, well, that's great, and they don't say anything, sometimes that's intentional, okay? And then when you say something and they actually hear you and they're like, what was that? Or you're like, or they'll say a word that obviously wasn't what you said. Okay, just for you to repeat yourself, to be annoyed. Okay, hand that over immediately. And just know that we need to keep people where they're at, right? That's something we've learned already. If it really hurts us, their betrayal, wrap them in a blanket of love. Hand it over immediately, to the point where that doesn't even touch you. Not even the irritation, okay? The irritation doesn't even touch you. That's the challenge. Okay. In order to stay lighter, right? Lighthearted. I didn't bring my dream book to bed last night, but I kind of remember it, so somebody was going to treatment for the second time, okay? Somebody was going to treatment for the second time. Which I think is very courageous, okay? I think it's very courageous to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, say it's your 10th time. That shows someone who never gives up, okay? In my eyes. That shows me someone who never gives up, who hasn't lost hope. And even when they're not having faith in self, they're going to go have faith in something, anything, right? Yeah, I think that shows great courage. So good for you. And then there was a certain amount of homelessness in my dream. Okay. And I found it funny once I woke up, okay? Because in my dream I didn't realize, but like, not funny, but like interesting how there was homelessness in my dream, and then there was also someone going to treatment for their second time in my dream. If you are struggling with homelessness, okay, and either alcoholism or anything really, even if it's just homelessness, okay, what you could do is go to treatment. Okay, in Alberta, it is free to go to treatment if you are an Alberta resident. So, at the treatment I went to, okay, I went to treatment twice, okay, I went to treatment twice, and you're not any sort of shamed for needing to go back, okay? You can actually go back, like, once you are recovered, okay? Which I would fall into that category. You are allowed to go for, what do they call them now? You're allowed to go for 2 weeks after that, whenever you feel like, okay? I forget what they're called, though. Anyways, you would book a bed and you go for 2 weeks, a refresher, okay? That's what they're called. They're called a refresher, and you can do as many as you want, okay? Anyways, if you're an Alberta resident and you register, and say you feel like you don't have that many clothes, say you feel like all your clothes are dirty, or say you don't even have any fucking clothes, okay? They have clothes there. They have clothes there at the treatment center. They do. They have a whole upstairs worth of clothes. And then those counselors, they help you. They help you. They have, like, if you need to be there longer, they have extensions, okay? You can get your time extended based on your situation, okay? There's people that you can open up to, and they won't leave you not knowing, okay? So that would be a really great place to start, with a lot of great resources, and you'll learn yourself, and you'll learn the culture, and you'll learn like a lot of things, man. I like tell anybody to go. When I told this story before, and I wish I knew what video it was on, but like there was these men with DUIs who came there, right? I was the only one who actually put myself in there the first time. The second time, I was trying to get away from something, and plus I had to do it. I was mandated with like a charge. I was gonna get a weapons charge taken away by alternative measures. Okay. I don't know if I told you guys this, but like the cops, when I got shot at, the cops arrested me. When I got shot at, the cops arrested me. Well, it's not a surprise, right? Surprise! Your life is threatened, and we're gonna arrest you. Anyways, that was the time that this cop, like, he like 2-footed into my glove box, and then 1-footed into my glove box, and without a warrant, and found these like knuckles that like I took from somebody else, okay, because I was feeling like threatened, okay, and then I forgot them in there. Anyways, because I wasn't going in to give a statement, he charged me with a weapons charge that he didn't have a warrant to get. And then after that, they made sure to seize my vehicle. So they seized my vehicle. And then when I got my vehicle back, there was a warrant sitting on my passenger seat after the fact. After the fact. After they realized that they didn't have a warrant to charge me. Stupid. But I was so busy with all the rest of my charges that I never really did say anything about it. I was like, it's just whatever, right? It's the least of my problems right now. And that was Swift Current. That was in Swift Current. That was the second reason. That was the second time I went. Okay. Second time I went to treatment was to like alternative measures to get that weapons charge off of my record. I think it's gone. Anyway, the first time I was the only person who like put myself in there. Everybody else was mandated. They either needed to get their kids back, which is noble as well, right? But yeah, there was no one who just freely went to get better. Anyway, this, I forget what I was going to say, so obviously it wasn't that important. Oh yeah, okay. Those ladies are so nice there, and they won't let you go if they know you got a goal in mind, okay? And they'll help you actually work towards it. Whatever your issue is, there's no judgments, okay? And if you have to go a second time, there's no judgments there too. They have the same mindset as I do when it comes to that, okay? Where it's like, okay, all right, so you're where, you know where to go, right? Great. What are the new traumas? So there was someone who was trying to create blockages for their partner or their ex or their live-in. Or like they knew that somebody was going to leave, so they're putting little things, places, reminders of me, reminders of me. And the person didn't care. They just left. They just left. There was also like an obstacle course in my dream. An obstacle course. And somebody was trying to get in the way of like this obstacle course. And somebody was like, loved makeup. They loved their makeup. They're really good at it too. They're really, really good at doing makeup. That's all I remember, really. Oh, right. This is what I was going to say. The video of me speaking on, there was these men with DUIs, okay? They worked in the oil field, and they got DUIs. And DUIs are, like, really common, I realized, after I got one. Which I'm not glorifying by any means. I would never do that again, okay? And I was actually in an instance where I was, like, in danger, I felt. Okay? And that was the time I was tormented in jail. When I was in danger and I got a DUI, okay? I got tormented in cells and starved. But it wasn't the first time I got starved. Anyways, these men got DUIs and they needed to go to treatment in order to get their license back. Okay? So, it's not like they never had the free willing choice, if they wanted to get their jobs back, okay? The union or something like that. So they were mandated to go. And I remember this one man really thinking that he didn't belong there with us. And I was like, wow, that's kind of rude. You know? Who are you? Right? Like, we're all human. And we're all a fish out of water. It's not just you who's a fish out of water. Right? But whatever. Suit yourself. Anyways. By like the end of the week, this man was like totally integrated with every single one of us. You could tell he was feeling more comfortable, whatever. Someone could be suffering with gout. Anyway, by the end of it, he had like an entire speech. He had the longest speech, actually. I thought I was going to have the longest speech. But he just went on and on. He was explaining how he thought he didn't belong there. And he ended up concluding that he very much did, okay? So even if you think you don't need it, if you have any sort of problem like gambling, drinking, eating, okay, it never pays to think you're better than. Somebody needs to take a leap of faith when it comes to the right path, okay? So if you are struggling with homelessness or addiction or alcoholism or any sort of needing to get away, okay? Domestic violence, okay? The first time I went, I was dealing with domestic violence. You need to take this leap, and you need to take a leap of faith, okay? And trust that you have everything to reach your destination on that new path, okay? Because everything you need is within you. It's not outside of you. And there's resources for that, and they'll help you, okay? You don't need to do it alone anymore. You don't need to do it alone anymore. Okay? And that's like the same is true when you're on this spiritual journey, okay? That's how you feel once you find this power greater than yourself. Like, wow, I don't gotta do anything alone anymore. Okay? When you truly know, okay? It'll show you time and time and time and time and time and time again that you're never alone. I don't know how to explain it, but once you believe, man, you're never alone. Ever. I cried so many times with that epiphany, okay? With that epiphany, I cried so many times, happy tears, like joyous, because I never had to be alone again, ever. I choose to see opportunities that present themselves to me. Yeah, so somebody sees that you're happy, sees the opportunity that you could be happy, sabotage, cutthroat, ignore. What'd you say? Paper? No? Oh, I thought you said paper. Like just an annoyance, okay? They're trying to be an annoyance, okay? They're trying to block your happiness with things that annoy you. So just hand it over as soon as it happens. Like, oh, that was supposed to irritate me. Oh, that was supposed to irritate me. Oh, that ignorance was supposed to irritate me. Oh, them ignoring me was supposed to irritate me. Oh, them not hearing what I said was supposed to irritate me. Oh, that sly remark was supposed to irritate me. Wow, I'm glad I'm really not irritated at all, and really not being irritated. Okay? You'd be surprised how many people who are supposed to love you just don't, okay? They don't have that in them due to resentment or their own issues, okay? And that's not ours to work out. That might stay that way, so we're not going to be angry about that our entire lives while that person stays like that their entire life. No. That's not our debt to pay. We're very light-hearted, happy, and healthy individuals. And to stay that way, we gotta like cycle that shit out. And if it's instantaneous, because we've already gotten to the bottom of that, okay, we already correlated it to our trigger, well then, I mean, I'm never heavy. Okay, it's a really great thing to do. So that is the challenge. This comes after we've identified what it is, though, that issue that makes us annoyed. right? Maybe it's acceptance. Maybe it's validation. Maybe it's abandonment. Maybe it's all of them. Okay? And we find that out once we start operating out of this truth, and we start noticing what we do and why we do it. How we feel, why we feel that way. Sometimes it's one thing that makes us do a lot of things, and once we figure that one thing out, well, then there goes all those triggers. I remember when I first went to treatment, I was full of triggers, okay? Full of tics. I would do this awkward laughing thing where like I would say something mess up and I would laugh. And people were getting weirded out about it. And I told them that like that was just a trigger of mine. And like, I don't actually think it's funny. But I very clearly remembering that. And then I worked on it and it went away. A lot of things went away when I like surrendered. The first time I went to treatment was like life-changing. Yeah. Because I did a lot of trauma therapy in there. A lot of trauma therapy. I couldn't talk to people, really. And when I did, I would go home and I would sleep for days after because it just took everything in me to get myself to do that. Very timid, okay? Very timid. Someone would talk to me and I'd have the words in my mind and then I would just cry. I just cry. I'd stutter and then I'd cry. Okay. It's like an animal who's been very abused. You know how they're all timid and shit like that? Same thing. We're like an animal, right? We're humans. Same thing. Sames. My brain just couldn't let me do certain things for a little while until I figured it out. And then once I figured it out, I became more empathic once I figured it out, okay? Way more empathic. Amongst other things. Because now I could set boundaries. And not like strict boundaries either. I was still able to forgive people because I was more empathic and I was able to set boundaries. It was just a lot of growth, okay? It's a lot of growth. And I don't care who you are, if you're an addict, if you're an alcoholic or not, treatment will grow you. Treatment will humble you, okay? If you're not in there glorifying and selling drugs, because one of my exes was like getting one of his runners to like sell drugs in the treatment center before. That takes a special kind of rotten, okay? It takes a special kind of rotten to do that. Somebody's mad because somebody cut them off. This person was trying to have you be a blockage. They were trying to be a blockage. They were codependent. They're codependent. Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. Can't rest. Because you know your truth. Wow. So this person was obviously playing some sort of game, right? You're operating from a place of truth, and this person is distraught about it. They can't rest. They can't rest because they can no longer have you miss out on opportunities when they present themselves to you. Okay, so this is a live-in. You're moving on and they're depressed. Yeah, someone just left. Someone was like thinking that someone might leave. Okay, maybe they caught a vibe that you might leave. So they're like, maybe they're like doing their makeup and like getting in your way or something like that, or thinking you weren't leaving, thinking that you weren't going to leave, and then you just left. And it was a good thing this person was like, always thought that they could use you. They thought that they could always use you, okay? Always. Now they're depressed. They can't sleep at night because they didn't devote any time to, like, this person thought you weren't shit, honestly. Or they knew that you were and liked to convince. Like, I'm getting like someone just like verbally this person got close to you to sabotage you, okay? And it was a partner. And this happens all the time, actually, where like people will verbally assault you, try to get to your psyche. And it does, because when you live with someone and they say something over and over and over and over, it does have an effect. They didn't want you to walk away so that they could take some sort of action here. Somebody was working with the Queen of Wands and was holding this information back in order to attack. That's why they didn't want you to walk away from them. Because then they couldn't have this happen. You miss out on this opportunity. Or this Queen of Wands, this Queen of Wands, I said, this King of Wands was going to attack somebody else, and you needed to be distracted for this person to be cutthroat to a woman. They wouldn't let it rest. They wanted to be cutthroat to this woman. And for that to happen, you need to miss this opportunity that was presenting itself to you, which was this woman. This person was never devoted, this Queen of Pentacles. They were a distraction. And they were also like a huge distraction for you to like not be able to operate out of peace, truth, clarity, right? Because truth and clarity brings peace into our hearts, our souls. I feel like that. I feel like truth speaks peace into my soul. It just does. It's lighter. It's more free. It's freeing. It really is. It is freeing. And you gotta be okay with not knowing, right? You gotta be okay with having that blind faith. You gotta be okay with not knowing everything, but knowing enough to make a decision based on that truth and clarity. Okay, just because somebody chooses not to tell you doesn't mean it's not true. Even though people have that mindset all the time, as long as I don't say it, as long as I don't say it, right? It's just dumb. Just because you don't present that to me as true doesn't mean it's not, okay? This woman's like also has something, they offer something, they offer some sort of tangible gift. It's a gift from God too. So if they sabotage this, it'll come a different way. If they sabotage that, it'll come a different way. If they sabotage that, it'll come a different way. Because it's gifted from God, okay? it's their birthright to have this life, okay? It's their gift to have this life be abundant. And who knows what this person's had to go through to get this? A lot, okay? But who knows exactly? Nobody but that person and God, okay? So that's exactly why these people were trying to sabotage her. That's exactly why these people were trying to have you miss out on this opportunity. Many people miss out on this opportunity. Okay, but it's just going to come another way. It's going to come another way. It's going to come another way. It's going to come another way. And you're always going to be irritated about it. This person's not even stressed because they know this to be true. Someone could be mirroring an Empress. Somebody could be mirroring an Empress. Wow. Somebody's like stepped into their power. Okay, and them stepping in their power guides a lot of people to their purpose. Without even knowing, really. Somebody stepping into their power. This is like leading by example. Somebody stepping into their power leads people to their purpose. That's so amazing. And someone is heartbroken over this because you're defensive and they feel at a loss. Wow. Somebody's mirroring an Empress, okay? A soulmate. Somebody's mirroring a soulmate and operating out of a space of truth and clarity, okay? And it will lead them to their purpose, okay? Which is good. Change is good, okay? We'll do a lot of changes, a lot of changes before we ever feel sort of comfortable enough to settle down in our changing things up, right? You got to try it to know what you like. You got to try it to know what you want and to make improvements, right? Wherever you deem necessary, because you've tried it and you've tried that 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 and you know you like that, but this could be better. So you fix that. And pretty soon it's like fine-tuned, crafted to who you are, okay? It's custom. But how do you know if you never take this leap? You don't. Yeah, somebody might be packing light. Somebody took a leap of faith when it came to this person who's trying to sabotage them, who doesn't take care of themselves or their loved ones. Okay, they just act like they do because they put their makeup on. Okay, really well. Oh, I'm shuffling the cards backwards again. Somebody feels like a fool. You're like, why did I do that? Like, this was the Queen of Pentacles sabotaged someone, okay? It hasn't come out who they are. But that was the best that they're ever going to get. And they treated it like shit. Didn't nurture it. Was like the opposite, okay? Like somebody's worst nightmare. If you do run into your soulmate here, ow, I just scratched my nose. if you, ow, if you run into your soulmate, you're gonna be like, I don't even know why I ever put up with that shit. I don't even know why I ever even put up with that shit. Because you're gonna remember the little things this person would say and do, just to irritate you. Okay? You would tell them something irritated you, they'd take it to another level just to do it more. This person can't rest because they feel like you want to reconcile with a soulmate that they distracted you from. And you've walked away, checked out emotionally even. They think that you're taking this leap of faith. And you should be, like, the leap of faith for self, right? And then if you do happen to run into a soulmate, or this soulmate in particular, or any soulmate, then that'll just be something on your journey. But the leap of faith should be for self. It should be for self. This person wants to reconcile and they won't rest. They're devoted to have you reconcile with them. But I mean, they'll only do the same thing with even more vengeance or whatever, because now you know their game. Okay, or it'll get better. It'll get better, it'll get better, it'll get better, till all of a sudden it doesn't. Till all of a sudden it doesn't, because they don't want to heal. The plan was to lay to rest. And not in the recharge, recuperate, relax type of way. No, in the loss, theft, privation, abandonment type of way, okay? That's the way. That's the way that we're trying to lay to rest. Healing. I'm going to do some cue cards. Just a few, though. I'm not going to do a whole reading. Family dispute in reverse. Somebody maybe... okay, so somebody could have been blaming this on their family, because their family could have, like, put this person in their life, or, like, their family could have gotten in the way in the I'm getting in the sense of, like, their family sent this person in. But anyways, this person could have been like, well, it's tradition that you don't leave your person. It's tradition, it's tradition, it's tradition, it's tradition, it's tradition, it's tradition. It's tradition. Somebody even brought somebody's manlyhood in it. They were like, well, the man of the house is supposed to da. And they knew about these, the family was involved, okay? And they used their love as a weapon. I see, right? I love you, fam. This family's like dissing you all the time. They put this person here, okay? Family dispute in the reverse. Like, they brought somebody's manlyhood into it too. Well, a real man, or like, well, the man of the house does this. That's not true. That's not true. That's something to keep you there. Love, spirit. Somebody doesn't have a great connection with God, but they say that they do. Somebody says that they have a great connection to God because of repetitive behavior. Something like some sort of ritual that they do. Like, say they go grab a rosary. Say they go light a candle. Say they go put some tobacco down. Say they go do something that makes you think that they believe. Somebody doesn't, or at least, like, refuses to reflect. Deflection. Mental illness in the reverse. Somebody was trying to say that their family member was deflecting something, and that they didn't have a connection with God. so that you wouldn't want to transform something or end a relationship with this family that had actual mental illness. Because who says this about somebody? Who says this about somebody when they know it's not true in order to deflect something instead of reflecting? Somebody that doesn't want something to end. Somebody that doesn't want family disputes to end. Okay? And also somebody who doesn't have a great relationship with God, because if you did, you wouldn't do that. Leo, pay it back. Unaccountability. Blessing in disguise in reverse. So somebody is reflecting. Somebody is reflecting. And then somebody's family is deflecting. Deflecting all the endings they try to have in somebody's life. All the mental illness that they projected onto somebody. Just because you don't believe in God doesn't mean it's not true. Right? I was saying this before. Just because you choose not to say it, just because you choose not to believe it, just because you choose that, doesn't mean it's not true. Okay? It's not rocket appliances. Just because you choose to say that about somebody else doesn't mean it's not true about you, okay? It usually does mean that. Especially if you're like, especially if it's not true about them. It's like, what's your problem? Best figure it out, because I'm not taking it on. It doesn't even irritate me, actually. That's my new challenge of today, is not allowing it to irritate me. And I was already getting good at it. Like, I was already good at it this morning. I'll just have to remind myself. I haven't been irritated yet today, okay? Yet. Because I know I will. Angel number 233. Keep asking yourself what is really important. It's easy to get lost and overwhelmed in the chaos, responsibilities, and goals of life. Once overwhelmed, it's tempting to forget about and postpone what is most near and dear to your heart. Ooh. Like, and careful, like when you're attacking people who are really close to their higher power, and you're saying that they're not, and you're calling them a fraud when you are, and you're attacking them for their gift from God, which they'll get in any way if you try to sabotage it. That's why they're at peace. They know this to be true. What is theirs will be theirs, is theirs, and will always be theirs, okay? They know this. Okay, so what you're doing is just a waste of your time, okay? While this person's maturing and growing, becoming more patient, all their lessons in life, they're getting down packed before this blessing comes, okay? So it's really not doing anything for you other than gaining more negative karma for going after a person like this just because you choose not to believe, okay? And when you do this, just because you don't believe it to be true doesn't mean it's not true, okay? And that power that person believes in, that great power, created you too, knows how you operate too, knows everything that's near and dear to you. So since you're trying to sabotage this gifted person who's supposed to be inheriting this gift from God, and you choose to get in the way, and you choose to say what makes you feel better, I'd have the fear of God in me if I were you, okay? Because this greater power knows everything that's near and dear to you as well. And you're attacking this person. He's anointed, right? The one that does the work of him. Okay, in some way, shape, or form, they're making this world a better place. Okay? And you're trying to sabotage that? Really? Damn. What's really important? Ask yourself. As a part of my early morning routine, I take a few seconds to ask myself this question. Reminding myself of what's really important helps me to keep my priorities straight. It reminds me that despite my multitude of responsibilities, I have a choice of what's important in my life and where I put my greatest amounts of energy. Being available for my wife and children, writing, practicing my inner work, wow, and so forth. Okay, yeah, and being irritated is not a priority, right? It's just something that needs to be cycled out. Unless it's like something professional or like you're dealing with something like fraud, okay? Then you have to do certain things. You have to take certain steps. You have to make certain reports. And then that's that. Nothing is really ever a big deal. Honestly, it just isn't. But it feels like it sometimes. And that's what needs to be released. Wow, that'll be hard. It's going to be a hard one. It's doable, though. It is. Despite the appearance of being overly simplistic, I have found this strategy to immediately be helpful in keeping me on track. When I take a few moments to remind myself of what's really important, I find that I'm more present moment orientated and in less of a hurry. And that being right loses its appeal. Conversely, when I forget to remind myself of what's really important, I find that I can quickly lose sight of my priorities and once again get lost in my own busyness. I'll rush out the door, work late, lose my patience, skip my exercise, and do other things that are in conflict with the goals of my life. If you regularly take a minute to check yourself, to ask yourself what's really important, you may find some of the choices you're making are in conflict with your own stated goals. And that's easy to happen when you're irritated as well, right? So just like, if that's not even a thing, then that won't even be a conflict within, okay? This strategy can help you align your actions with your goals and encourage you to make more conscious, loving decisions. Alignment, he's speaking about alignment. Trust your intuitive heart. I'm going to read this one as well, and then I'll close it out. I haven't drank any water yet. I hate how like the first drink of water, I like to get it over with right when I wake up, but I hate how the first drink of water tastes like morning breath. Maybe I should just brush my teeth as soon as I wake up. Anyway. I'm not easily embarrassed, okay? I'm not. One time, because I don't really give a fuck what anybody thinks. Not like that. Not like I used to. One time, I had a booger in my nose, okay? In a video, and I tried to get embarrassed, and I couldn't, okay? There was just too good of content in that video, and I was getting told to post it by my spiritual team anyways, and I posted it, okay? You guys didn't say anything about it, so whatever. And I wouldn't care if you did. Trust your intuitive heart. How often have you said to yourself after the fact, I knew I should have done that? How often do you intuitively know something, but you allow yourself to think yourself out of it? Trusting your intuitive heart means listening to and trusting that quiet inner voice that knows what it is you need to do, what actions need to be taken, or changes need to be made in your life. Many of us don't listen to our intuitive heart for fear that we couldn't possibly know something without thinking it through, or fear that legitimate answers could possibly be so obvious. We say things to ourselves like, that couldn't possibly be right, or I couldn't possibly do that. And as soon as we allow our thinking mind to enter the picture, we think ourselves out of it. We then argue for our limitations, and then they become ours. I don't suffer with that anymore. I do remember, but it was a really long time ago. So once you do it, and then you do it again, and then you do it again, then pretty soon you're doing anything and everything you think possible, and a lot more things become possible. If you can overcome your fear that your intuitive heart will give you incorrect answers, then you can learn to trust it. And even if it does, then now you know. Okay? What I think is, like, if I have like 2-3 choices or whatever flows the best is what's gonna work for now, until I find that it doesn't. Okay? If it flows better, if it feels less of a blockage within, like, should I choose this path or should I choose this path? Which one feels like, which one flows better? That's what I'll choose for now, until I know that it doesn't work. And then now I know, maybe I need to switch to this path, or maybe I just need to switch one thing up on this path because it still flows better. It's up to you. Maybe this one's just way too disrespectful, and I don't stand for that, and I won't stand for that. Okay, now I need to switch entirely, and that's okay. Okay, because I'm happier. So I'm healthier. If you can overcome your fear that your intuitive heart will give you incorrect answers, okay, I read that. Your life will become a magical adventure, the one it was meant to be. Trusting your intuitive, and that's what happens when you find your purpose too. And somebody's like finding their purpose. This is actually really amazing. Trusting your intuitive heart is like removing the barriers to enjoyment and wisdom. It's the way to open your eyes and your heart to your greatest source of wisdom and grace. Wow. If you're unfamiliar with trusting your intuition, start by setting aside a little quiet time to clear your mind and to listen. Ignore and dismiss any habitual self-defeating thoughts that enter your mind, and pay attention only to the calm thoughts that begin to surface. If you find that unusual yet loving thoughts are appearing in your mind, take note of them and then take action. So yeah, like, get to that centered space where you're not irritated, where you're not having any intrusive thoughts, where you're not having any sort of doubts. Okay, because doubts are so negative. And once you get in that space, things will just come to you. You'll intuitively feel it, what to do next. If, for example, and if it doesn't, then you haven't quieted your mind enough. Or maybe there's nothing to do in that moment. Maybe it's just you need to wait. If, for example, you get the message to write or call someone you love, go ahead and do it. If your intuitive heart says you need to slow down or take more time for yourself, try to make it happen. If you're reminded of a habit that needs attention, pay attention. You'll find that when your intuition gives you messages, you respond with action. You'll often be rewarded with positive, loving experiences. Start trusting your intuitive heart today, and you'll see a world of difference in your life. Have a good day, people.